It feels like I'm about to drink a science experiment. This is going to be Big Smile Imperial IPA by Hop Valley Brewing Company. It is brewed with a simple malt platform to showcase the generous use of Citra, that's good, cryo hops, that's what? Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Chewing the Brew. Today I'm drinking a citrusy Imperial IPA. This one has cryo hops, which is a hop product in which lupulin, which is essentially the primary flavor and smell compounds of the hops, is cryogenically separated at sub-zero temperatures. Not sure what they mean by separated, if they're actually extracting the lupulin from the hops and then applying it to the beer in a different way rather than simply dropping hops in the beer. I will say the smell from this beer is fantastic. I like Citra hops, and this has Citra in spades, piles, large volumes. Just opening the can, it was this explosion of beautiful citrus. The Citra hop doesn't smell like the navel oranges I grew up with. It's more of a tangerine slash maybe blood orange aroma, just to that side of citrus. Still definitely recognizably orange. This is also a 20-ounce can. You find these more and more these days, especially with high ABV beers, which is, I have my opinions regarding that. So being an Imperial, this is a 9% ABV, and 20 ounces at 9%, that's a decent amount of alcohol. This can is designed to get you buzzed or drunk quickly, pretty much. Which, if you've heard me, that's not really my purpose in drinking beer. I'll enjoy good beer. I know a lot of people, I have a lot of friends who enjoy the big cans. I just find it maybe a little bit excessive to put a high ABV beer in a tall can. I do like tall cans of milder beers. I love my tall cans of Lush, or the pumpkin beer I drank was in a 16-ounce can. So, anyways, I drink tall cans. I'm not sure if Imperial IPAs or other high ABV beers and tall cans are really going for me as a market. Let's put it that way. So to the nose, definitely simple malt characteristics, if any at all. I am picking up mostly the citrus hops. There's a couple different layers. While when I first cracked the can, it was more like bright and in your face and a little bit more tart citrus flavors. Now it's definitely softened down to like the cuties, those really super sweet clementines or mandarin oranges that you get at the grocery store these days that are so popular. And I'm not going to say it can pick up any particular malt character. The fact that they mention malts at all is interesting, especially considering this is really a beer that's about advertising the hops. I take that as a good thing because it means the brewer recognizes that even in a hop-centric beer, the malts do play a part, even if in this particular beer, it is specifically intended to be a supporting role. Probably a very subtle back of the room supporting role. Though, this being an Imperial, the alcohol has to come from somewhere, and the alcohol comes from the malts. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not really smelling any sort of alcohol, which bodes well. Yeah, it's pretty much all about the Citra hops on the nose, which isn't a bad thing. Interesting. Now I almost wish that I had a more traditional Citra hop beer to compare it with. There is, with an Imperial IPA, I typically find them to be less bright. Not that they're dull, but there's less of an upfront bitterness. The bitterness tends to be concentrated towards the back, and there's usually a relatively thick, almost sweet middle with whatever hop characters going on there. This is pretty much that. So it's a muted, really sweet, not muted, it's a really sweet orange character and then orange peel. It is this nice, warm, sweet, bready, high ABV middle, and then the hops start building. The warmth of the alcohol in the breath, plus the hop residuals coming back up, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. Yeah, it is a simple beer, but that's not a bad thing. It knows what it's about. Each of the components taste good, and it all works. It's pretty well balanced. The bitterness is 67 IBU, so not really excessive. I mean, definitely to the high side, but with an Imperial IPA, that's actually pretty high for an Imperial IPA. With an Imperial IPA, the louder hops are also in some ways kind of attenuated by the louder alcohol and malt body. And so you can find some balance in there. It's interesting now, there's a sweetness coming back up too. Interesting. Yeah, it all plays pretty nicely together. The hops are interesting. Cryo hop sounds like a pretty good thing in general, if that's the characteristic you're going for. And it certainly resulted in a really strong aroma, beautiful aroma at the outset. I don't know if I could say they stand up or they stand out in a unique way now that the initial aroma explosion is gone and Rhonda just, sipping this beer in the glass. I'm not sure I could say that I can still taste a difference there. But it certainly didn't hurt it. It didn't break the beer to use cryo hops. It was a good ingredient, well used. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. This has been me, Matthew. I have been drinking and enjoying Big Smile Imperial IPA, a citrusy Imperial IPA by Hop Valley Brewing Company, showcasing Citra cryo hops. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side.